and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. And we are here at Cybos for a very insightful conversation. This time, the conversation is around compliance, and we are talking to Mr. Christos Christou, who is the Chief Compliance Officer of Lulu Financial Services. And he is going to share with us some very interesting insights on how compliance is taking shape. And in this world of transition, how is compliance transitioning with the transformation that is happening in the financial services space and with respect to the exchanges and the remittances businesses, which is a major part of their business. Christo, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Nice
Thanks,
to meet
Christo.
you.
Same here. A pleasure catching up with you too. Great. So, we have been seeing so much of transformation taking place in the payments world. You yourself have been innovating quite a lot. On one side, it is the business whose task is to ensure that the graph goes up. On the other side, it is your prerogative to see to it that that growth is also as per the processes laid down by the regulators and you comply so that there is definitely no holding back on your growth. Correct? So when these kind of transformations happen, today the technology is transforming from the legacy to that of say Web 3.0 or Web 4.0 tomorrow or things like that. And Lulu has also been experiencing such kind of rampant technology transformation. In these situations, when these kind of transformations happen, what are the bottlenecks you see, especially with organizations like yours, when it comes to business, technology, and compliance, in making sure that you are up in that transition phase or transformation space in the right time, right technology, right products and services?
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to say a few words how compliance is an enabler of business and not a showstopper. Basically, in financial services, the three legs you mentioned, the front line, the operations, the actual business process, with the controls and in between the technology, have to meet together to design the strategy. There are many examples whereby if there are silos, the organization does not grow. Whether it is an innovation or it is a new product or whatever, there will be delays, there will be problems, there will be issues. The customer experience will not be that good if the three sets are not put together. So the first and most important thing is that strategically, Lulu Financial Services meet together the operational design, which is the bringing the product to market, the compliance controls, whereby we will have to see the rules, the regulations, the guidelines that are issued by the regulators, how to be correct and correctly implemented. And we bring all these resources together and sit on the same table with technology, and we instruct them how to design it. So I would say that it is business driven strategy rather than technology driven strategy. Technology is a medium, compliance is a control, operations is the source. So all them together make the right choice in order for us. We follow it and we have good results, I would say, so far. We can be better, but time will show.
Interesting. One thing that happens in most of the cases is when compliance comes to place, or when security comes to place, automatically there is a friction amongst the customer experience. How are you working as a compliance officer with the business teams and the technology teams for making sure that this experience of the customer is basically frictionless on one side, because that is what the customer want to the extent possible, so that there is minimal kind of friction on one side, and on the other side, how are we enriching the experiences of the customer, be it at the pricing level or be it at giving separate offers level, or what are the new things that are coming in enriching the experiences?
Thank you for this question. It has two legs. Let me focus first of all on the customer experience and how it should be enhanced in order for it to be frictionless. As you said, the turnaround time or the time to deliver should be so minimum that also the cost will be lower in order to affect the second leg of your question, which will be the pricing. Um, Compliance, as every control function, should think in terms of technology, how to fully automate the process of risk management. We do our homework, we do our financial crime risk assessment, we identify the gaps that we have from the regulation and the processes of the operations, we bridge them and we close them by putting automations like machine learning, artificial intelligence and robotics, advanced analytics in place, whereby with the dynamism that technology brings together today, all this can be in milliseconds. So every customer engagement with the company, with the financial service provider, which means either at registration or at KYC level or at every transaction, it's speeded up by the automation process. That is, we capture it, we analyze it, we put it through all these controls that they are there, and on top of it, if there is any trigger that is or an alert created, we put the artificial intelligence or the robotics to minimize the effect of false, of mistakes, so that by experience I can say that more than 97%, more or less, of the customer transactions are going frictionless. They are going straight through processing, as we call them in payments.
Banking.
So the time to deliver is reduced to milliseconds, or the worst case scenario, seconds. We are proud to say that in Lulu Financial Services and in our group, the majority, more than 95% of the transactions, I told you 97 is somewhere there on average, between 95 and 97, are going within 5 seconds.
Wow.
Towards that. So that enhances the experience of the customer at frontline. What we have to understand also is that it takes time in order for this to be built up. Too much investment in technology, too much investment in training of the people, too much investment in automations, further to what technology, the simple technology will bring. And then, of course, you need to comply with the regulations. So we invest in people as well, sophisticated people, to investigate those parts that they need a little bit of more manual touch. Having said that, completing the first part of the customer experience as much frictionless and fast as possible, we go and deliver to the operations a tool and a methodology to start their pricing differentiation. So if you have such an efficiency and you can promise your customer fast payments, then you can reduce, you calculate your cost, you reduce your cost, and then you reduce your price. So you become more attractive to the customer.
Wonderful.
And that's what exactly is compliance doing as an enabler, basically. We speed up the time.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it is an accelerator rather than a
Exactly.
decelerator. Wonderful. Now, just coming to this experience perspective, I think organizations have been innovating to give the better pricing models to the customers, better offers to the customers, and things like that. How has Lulu Group been working with, or the financials group been working around the customer's interest and trying to do it with automation or analytics or things like that?
Very critical question what you're asking now, and I don't know about others, but we try to be within the market culture. What does this mean? In the market we serve as Lulu Financial Services of Lulu Financial Group, we mostly deal with customers of lower income. We're in the low value retail payments, as we call them. More than 85 to 90% of our business is into that range. Somewhere around, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 equivalent transactions. So being there, the market is very sensitive at cost. So we have common interests between all the members, if possible, within the same market, and we sit down and discuss what is the effect of a price reduction or a price increase. So we rather agree on the steps that we take. I don't believe that a financial services services players within our sector compete with price. It used to be that in the past, but due to the imposition of regulations, the cost has increased. So small players cannot reduce the price or the fee that they charge in order to gain customers. They will gain them just temporarily. If they cannot support them with fast experience, with good products, with availability of resources at any point where they are, we have we have already 300 global branches. So that presence in 9 countries with this huge number of branches, outlets, plus the technologically advanced applications that we use, have a presence everywhere almost.
Correct.
So the people do not increase their cost of moving here and there just to save 1 rupee or save half a cent or 1 cent of a dollar for making transaction.
Absolutely.
Therefore, we control our costs and we increase our revenue by providing automations, by providing customer support, by providing straight-through processing in their payments.
Wonderful. So you better the experience, and then you bringing automation and technology to make sure that
maintain the costs. Yes,
absolutely. So coming to this transition, what are the key bottlenecks that organizations like yours have been seeing when you adopt certain kind of technology, or when you leapfrog to a newer technology? You have gone into blockchains, you have gone into recent announcements about blockchain or NFT tokens or things like that. What kind of bottlenecks have you been seeing?
We are not in all these new technologies, meaning products that they offer. Mm-hmm. The virtual assets or the virtuality of assets is not part of our world yet. Mm-hmm. What is part of our world is the underlying technology like blockchain, you mentioned before, in order to fast track and advanced APIs, to fast track the process that we offer and reduce the turnaround time. So the bottlenecks that we find are all related, first of all, the majority of them, on the regulations. The new virtuality or the new virtual assets that are created now, crypto assets, cryptocurrencies, tokens, NFTs, all those lack control because of lack of regulation. You cannot be regulated and get into unregulated business. It will contradict between what you do. And we have taken the strategic decision not to engage in any unregulated business. Mm-hmm. So we try to waive the unregulatory aspects of technologically advanced products and stay within the underlying technology and the speed that they offer in order to make use of it. And we embed it in our internal processes. And that's the benefit we get out of that. I don't know about tomorrow, but today this is the reality.
But you don't face any bottleneck when you shift to that technology?
No, because we are ready for it. We always look up front. That's one of the reasons that we visit exhibitions like Cybos. We want to know what is tomorrow for money. And what is the technology for tomorrow? Where does it go? So we get ready and we can adapt easily. We are not a heavily geared or heavily spread organization. We keep a lean structure, and by this lean structure, it's easy to follow up the new things and develop them fast.
Wonderful. And when you do these strategic engagements, do you see any major aspects where you involve external consultants to help you in transformation, or you do it internally most of the time?
The development, first of all, the design should be within, and this is what we use. It's a model that we use the last decade, and it worked. Designing something, it's better done inside than outside. We have resources that they are well developed and well advanced in order to take those strategic decisions where and what to do. Coming to the implementation, of course, we use external resources, external vendors. Many times we use consultancy in order to understand what is the best technology to use, and we rely on partners that they give us their consultancy among the services that they will provide for us. We are very selective in which ones to use, and we keep the consultancy and the external examination of what we do as an independent function, so that they have a bird's eyes control over us and tell us, here you go right, here you go wrong. So if I would answer your question in with one word, I would say maybe.
Okay. That is a very short and sweet answer for what I have asked for. And when there are these technology transitions taking place, you see a lot of product transformation, process transformation, and people transformation. How do you look at the product and people transformation happening, and what kind of difficulties you see, and how do you work around it?
The process transformation, I believe it's easier than the people transformation. We are a young led organization, so we attract resources from younger generations, whereby they have the transformation within their ecosystem. So they bring the transformation within the way they work. However, if there is something very critical that will change, it's not that easy to bring the same speed of changing processes into changing of people. We do extensive training, internal and external. The group invests a huge number of its financial assets in development of people. Because we're a service-oriented organization, we cannot move without people.
Correct.
So people are
Critical.
are primary for us. We use technology even into that. We try to create or buy lessons and trainings through technology to lead them towards continuous education to our people.
Wonderful.
However, there are some challenges also there.
Yeah, absolutely. See, that is exactly what we are all trying to see, how we can understand some of the key challenges and work around it, or learn from experts as to how they have worked around it.
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
So that is what is there any challenge that you would like to discuss?
In our industry, one final thing I would say is that the fight for time is the most critical challenge and obstacle we find. The world moves with the speed of light, and we have to adapt to that speed. Putting too many things in a pipeline many times block the pipeline, and it is not that easy to move fast. We try with different methodologies to keep the pipe free
Moving.
and the things to move through that pipe. And that's the biggest challenge that we find now. It's time. So the T factor, as we call it in our in our organization, is so critical that we closely work and monitor that.
Wonderful. I think we had a great perspective from you, from the compliance perspective, from technology perspective, from people perspective, and the process perspective. And it has been really very, very interesting to understand your thoughts on this area.